Imagine the stifling darkness of the caves beneath the misty mountains in 2941 of the Third Age. Bilbo Baggins, an unsuspecting hobbit, finds himself toe-to-toe with Gollum, a pitiful creature, twisted by centuries of possession of the One Ring. What if, instead of losing the ring to Bilbo through a trick of fate and riddles, Gollum had reclaimed it, seizing victory and retreating deeper into his lair? What then would become of Middle-earth? The implications are staggering. The ring, which seeks only its master Sauron, would remain hidden, perhaps for decades or longer. Gollum, consumed by his obsession, was never a ring-bearer of strategic cunning. In all likelihood, he would have lingered in the caves, savoring his precious and feeding his paranoia. The ring's influence would drive him to madness, but ironically, it might have delayed Sauron's plans, as the Dark Lord's servants would remain unaware of its location. Some of these same principles would remain unaware of its location. Inquisitive. Yet this delay comes at a cost. Without the ring in Bilbo's hands, Frodo's fateful journey in C2 83,018 is never set in motion. The Fellowship of the Ring, a union of diverse peoples and cultures, would never form. Instead, Middle-earth would face the unopposed rise of Sauron. The time bought by Gollum's isolation with the ring could paradoxically spell doom, as Sauron's power grew unchecked. What becomes of Gollum himself? The One Ring amplifies its bearer's inherent qualities: Bilbo's courage, Frodo's resilience, and Isildur's pride. For Gollum, its possession magnifies his cruelty and isolation. The ring would twist him further into an embodiment of despair and greed. Left unchallenged, Gollum might perish alone in the dark, an ignoble end, with the ring lost to time. Or, more chillingly, he might emerge, drawn toward Mordor as Sauron's shadow stretches across Middle-earth. An ignoble end. With the ring lost to time, an ignoble end. With the ring lost to time, an ignoble end. With the ring lost to time, an ignoble end. As Sauron's shadow stretches across Middle-earth. The stakes of Bilbo's riddling game are monumental. Gandalf, in the Fellowship of the Ring, muses, "It was pity that stayed Bilbo's hand." This pivotal choice shapes Gollum's role in the greater story. With the ring in Gollum's hands, that dynamic of pity and redemption is erased. Would Frodo and Sam have found Gollum to guide them through the perils of Mordor? Would Frodo ever learn the lesson of mercy so vital to his own quest? Middle-earth, bereft of Bilbo's theft, faces a murky future. The balance of light and dark teeters precariously as the ring's power eludes even the wisest minds. In the absence of its discovery, the Free People's disunity may lead to their downfall. Yet, in Gollum's hoarding, there lies a flicker of hope, an unknowable timeline where the ring's influence remains dulled by his solitary madness. To fully understand the ramifications of Gollum keeping the ring, we must consider the ring's relationship with its master, Sauron. Forged in the fires of Mount Doom in 1600 of the Second Age, the One Ring is a tether, a conduit for Sauron's will. Its separation from him, beginning with Isildur's fateful refusal to destroy it in 3441 of the Third Age, weakens him immeasurably. Yet as long as the ring exists, so does Sauron. Had Gollum claimed the ring, Sauron's search would intensify. The ring calls to him, though distance and Gollum's erratic mind would obscure its voice. Still, agents like the Nazgul, the tireless servants of the Dark Lord, would scour the lands, driven by the faintest whispers of its presence. Gollum, wretched but cunning, might evade capture for years. His deep knowledge of caverns and shadowy places could shield him for some time, but not forever. This delay is crucial. By 2941 of the Third Age, Sauron is rebuilding his strength in Dol Guldur under the guise of the Necromancer. His plans, however, hinge on regaining the ring, the source of his dominion over Middle-earth. Without the ring in Bilbo's possession, the White Council might not push Sauron out of Dol Guldur during the events of The Hobbit. Gandalf himself only presses the issue because he suspects Sauron's growing power and fears for the ring's safety. A world where Gollum keeps the ring is a world where Sauron may remain in Dol Guldur longer, consolidating his hold on southern Mirkwood and the surrounding lands. Without Bilbo's theft, another domino falls, the fate of Erebor. Thorin and his company might still reach the Lonely Mountain, but without Bilbo's cunning, Smaug might never be defeated. The dragon, a powerful ally for Sauron, could become a critical piece in the Dark Lord's war strategy. Imagine Smaug descending upon Rivendell or Gondor. At Sauron's behest, the free peoples, already fractured, would face near-certain ruin. Equally important is the absence of the ring's subtle corrupting influence on Bilbo and, later, Frodo. The Shire, that unassuming corner of Middle-earth, becomes a crucible for the struggles of power and morality. Without the ring, Bilbo would never have brought it to Bag End. Frodo, Sam, Merry and Pippin would lead quiet lives, untouched by the tides of history. Yet, this leaves Middle-earth without the unique heroism of hobbits, whose resilience and unassuming nature make them ideal ring-bearers. This shifts the focus to the wider world. With the ring hidden in Gollum's clutches, Aragorn's journey as a leader might falter. His mission to reclaim the throne of Gondor gains urgency only when the ring emerges as a threat. In this alternate timeline, his long years as a ranger might stretch into despair as he awaits a purpose that never materializes. Furthermore, the union of elves, dwarves, and men symbolized by the Fellowship would remain a dream. Gimli and Legolas might never forge their friendship, and the estrangement between their peoples would persist. The alliances crucial to resisting Sauron would falter, leaving each race to fend for itself. Thus, the implications of Gollum's possession ripple outward, reshaping the fates of individuals and kingdoms alike. As Gollum continues to clutch the ring in isolation, its impact on him deepens. The One Ring is not merely an object of power, it is a corrupting force, designed to dominate and enslave. Its influence on Gollum over centuries provides a grim illustration of its potency. By 2941 of the Third Age, Gollum's very identity is splintered. He is both the pitiable Smeagol, yearning for the light, and the cruel Gollum, enslaved by the precious. If Gollum had reclaimed the ring from Bilbo, his descent into madness would have accelerated. However, unlike a more calculated bearer such as Sauron or Saruman, Gollum's chaotic nature poses an interesting paradox. The ring craves power, yet its current bearer lacks the capacity to wield it effectively. This conflict could prolong the stalemate between Gollum and Sauron, creating an extended period where the ring remains hidden but active, subtly warping the course of history. One of the most fascinating elements of Tolkien's mythology is the concept of fate intertwined with free will. The ring's rediscovery by Bilbo during the events of The Hobbit is often described as a moment of providence. Gandalf, in the Fellowship of the Ring, reflects, Bilbo was meant to find the ring, and not by its maker. The implication is that a higher power, possibly Eoru Ilúvatar himself, intervened to guide the ring into Bilbo's hands, and, eventually, to Mount Doom. If Gollum had reclaimed it, this divine thread might unravel. Middle-earth's history becomes untethered from the guiding hand of destiny, leaving its peoples at the mercy of random chance. Without Bilbo's pivotal act of pity, sparing Gollum in the cave, the thematic undercurrent of mercy and redemption fades from the story. Frodo's later decision to spare Gollum at Cirith Ungol stems directly from Bilbo's example. If Gollum perishes early, so too does the redemptive arc that ultimately leads to the ring's destruction. This alternate timeline also complicates the ring's eventual trajectory. The ring exerts a gravitational pull on all who encounter it, yet Gollum's seclusion would limit its reach. Without its presence to sway key players, Saruman's corruption might take a different form. Deprived of the lure of the One Ring, his betrayal of the White Council could manifest as a more traditional power grab, focused on Rivendell or even Lothlorien. Yet the most pressing concern is Sauron himself. While Gollum hoards the ring in the caves of the Misty Mountains, Sauron's dominion continues to expand. The Dark Lord's power, even without the ring, is immense. With Mordor fortified and his armies multiplying, Sauron's conquest of Middle-earth remains an inevitability without the unifying threat of the ring to galvanize resistance. Gollum's hold on the ring buys time, but without a clear path to its destruction, time becomes an enemy. Each year strengthens Sauron's grip on Middle-earth, diminishing the chances of successful rebellion. As the ring remains hidden, its corrupting influence manifests elsewhere. Denethor, steward of Gondor, falls deeper into despair without knowledge of the ring's whereabouts. The beacon of hope that sparks with the Fellowship's formation never ignites. The absence of Frodo's journey means Aragorn's return as king is indefinitely delayed, if it happens at all. The world becomes a stage for Sauron's ascendance, with resistance fragmented and leaders isolated. In this altered timeline, Gollum's reclamation of the ring sets off a chain of events that echoes through Middle-earth's fate. The longer the ring remains hidden, the more its subtle influence warps the world. It is a paradox. In staying hidden, it denies Sauron his ultimate weapon, yet it also denies the free peoples the opportunity to destroy it. One of the most significant victims of this timeline is Frodo Baggins. Without Bilbo's fateful encounter in the cave, Frodo's quiet life in the Shire is never interrupted. Yet this idyllic existence comes at a cost. Frodo's latent courage, compassion, and capacity for sacrifice are never realized. He remains a figure of untapped potential, one of countless hobbits untouched by the larger forces shaping Middle-earth. Samwise Gamgee too is robbed of his defining moment of heroism. Without the ring to carry, there is no Mount Doom to climb, no temptation to resist, and no burden to share. Sam's loyalty, which shines brightest in the darkest moments of Frodo's journey, remains an untested quality. This loss extends beyond individuals, as the Shire itself remains insular and isolated. The Scouring of the Shire, an event that forces hobbits to stand against tyranny, never occurs. The hobbits, untested by adversity, remain vulnerable should Sauron's dominion eventually stretch westward. Aragorn's destiny as Elessar, the High King of the reunited kingdom, may also remain unrealized. Without the ring's reappearance to catalyze his journey, Aragorn could remain a wandering ranger, burdened by his lineage but unable to claim his rightful place. His symbolic role as a unifier of men, elves, and dwarves fades, leaving the free peoples disjointed in the face of Sauron's growing power. Rivendell might stand alone against the tide, with no fellowship to carry the hopes of Middle-earth. Then there is the question of Gandalf. His presence in Middle-earth as one of the Istari is rooted in the mission to counter Sauron. Without the ring to galvanize his efforts, Gandalf's influence may wane. His careful orchestration of events, from nudging Thorin toward Erebor to guiding Frodo's steps, relies on the ring's presence to give them purpose. Deprived of that central thread, Gandalf's efforts to unite the free peoples may falter. Finally, what becomes of Gollum? His role in the ultimate destruction of the ring is one of bitter irony. As Tolkien himself wrote in the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien, even Gollum might be cured in the end. Yet without Bilbo's pity to shape events, Gollum's redemptive arc never begins. His life ends, not as a twisted savior, but as a cautionary tale. A creature consumed by the very object he covets. The One Ring, unclaimed and undestroyed, becomes a lurking threat, awaiting a new bearer to continue its dark purpose, first proclaimed in the 47th Psalm song. This what-if scenario offers a chilling reminder of the fragile interplay of fate, free will, and providence in Middle-earth. Gollum's fleeting moment of triumph in reclaiming the ring could doom Middle-earth to an age of shadow, proving that even the smallest acts of mercy, like Bilbo sparing Gollum, can shape the fate of a world.